From the moment my husband proposed, his mother decided I was the problem. She didn't say it to my face. She said it to everyone else. The first time I knew was at the engagement party, when I overheard her tell her sister that her son had thrown his life away on a girl with no last name worth knowing. I let it slide. I told myself she was just protective. The wedding was a year away, and I had time to win her over. I never did. The first 6 months were small things. She called my career a hobby. She told the caterer I had a low-class palate. She mailed her own version of our engagement photos to the entire extended family, versions she had cropped me out of with a kitchen knife. Then she started calling my mother. Late afternoons, when she knew my mother would be alone in the kitchen, she would talk for 40 minutes at a time about all the ways the wedding plans were a mistake. My mother didn't know what to say. She just listened. After the third call, she stopped picking up the phone in the afternoons. I called my husband crying twice. Both times he talked to her. Both times she denied everything. By month 4, I stopped telling him. Then the bridal shower happened. She showed up with a wrapped box that she insisted I open first. Inside was a framed wedding portrait of my husband and his ex-girlfriend from college. She'd kept it for 12 years. Now she'd had it reframed in gold leaf for me. 42 women watched me open it. My mother left the room. That was the first time I cried in front of my father about it. He didn't say anything that night. He just put his hand on top of mine, and we sat in the kitchen until 2 in the morning. I thought he was just listening. He wasn't. He was thinking. 2 weeks before the wedding, my father did something he didn't tell me about. He hired our wedding videographer to start filming early. Not for the wedding day, for the entire week leading up. The engagement brunch, the welcome dinner, the cocktail party, everything. He told the videographer one thing only: keep the camera rolling on Constance. That was my mother-in-law's name, Constance. The night of the rehearsal dinner, she stood up at the head of the table and tapped her champagne glass. She said she had prepared a few words. She had a sealed envelope in her hand. What she read, I will never forget. 5 minutes long. She mocked my career. I'm a hospice nurse. She mocked my family. My parents have been married 38 years. She mocked my dress. She mocked my weight. She mocked the way I had answered the phone the first time she called me. When she finished, half the table laughed politely. Half just looked at their plates. My father did not move. I did not react. My father did not react. He had already prepared. As the cake was being wheeled out, he stood up. He said he had something to add to the toasts. He gestured to the videographer at the back of the room. A 60-inch screen on the far wall lit up. There Constance was, 4 days earlier, holding a wine glass at the welcome dinner, leaning toward her sister. And I quote, "My son could have married any of the girls I picked. He chose a peasant." Someone at the table actually gasped. A woman 2 seats from me put her wine glass down so hard it cracked the base. Constance's husband stopped chewing. The waiter, who had been about to refill her glass, turned around and walked back to the kitchen. She said it 3 more times in different ways across the next 2 minutes. Each clip worse than the last. The last one ended with her telling her sister that she planned to make my life so difficult I would leave him within a year. 47 guests watched the whole thing. Constance stood up and walked out of the rehearsal dinner before the cake was cut. She missed our wedding the next day. My father raised his glass and said one sentence. To my daughter, who handled this with a grace I don't have. What I didn't know until later is that Constance's husband, my husband's father, had been at the rehearsal dinner too. He had watched the whole thing. 3 days after we returned from our honeymoon, he showed up at our apartment, alone. He sat on our couch for 20 minutes without saying anything. Then he told my husband he was filing for divorce. He told me he was sorry he hadn't seen it sooner. The divorce took 11 months. Constance kept the house. He moved into a small apartment near a bookstore he liked. He had never bought a place of his own in 46 years of marriage. 6 months in, Constance tried to reach out. She wrote her husband a 14-page letter saying she had been misunderstood at the dinner, that the videographer had cut things out of context, that we had set her up. He read it once and mailed it back unopened with the videographer's full, unedited footage on a thumb drive inside the envelope. She did not write again. He started coming to anniversary dinners. He brought a card every year. The first year, he brought a small jade plant. He said he had read somewhere that they live forever. 3 years in, he met someone new, a retired librarian named Joan. They got married in a backyard ceremony with 12 guests. My husband walked his father down the aisle. I cried more than I cried at my own wedding. Constance was not invited. She has not spoken to her son in 6 years. She spent her last Christmas alone, according to a cousin who still talks to her. We have 3 children now. Joan is the grandmother they know. They call her Nana. Every anniversary, the family gathers at the same restaurant where we had our rehearsal dinner. We watch the footage from that night, the full footage, not just the clip, the whole speech she gave, the whole 60-inch reveal, my father raising his glass. He still raises his glass at the same place. He's 81 now. He doesn't drink the champagne anymore. He just holds it up and says the same sentence. To my daughter, who handled this with a grace I don't have. Then we cut the cake.